Hello, hi, and thank you for joining us today for this Sivananda 12 practice. Sivananda is one of the oldest yoga lineages, and it stems from a deep philosophical approach to our practice. And I'm going to be doing a little bit of meditation and some asana, 12 basic hatha postures within our practice today. So please take it at your own level, your own experience of yoga, and also honoring any medical conditions and injuries that you may have. We're going to start in a comfortable seated posture. And maybe you wish to take a mudra here, a hand gesture. You can take the thumb pressing lightly against the forefinger, which is Jhan mudra, and just rest the backs of the hands down onto the knees, relax the shoulders down the back, and just try and think about the shoulders being in line with the hips, and the head is nice and free and nice and easy on top of the neck and resting on top of the shoulders. And as you gently close your eyes or take a soft gaze, just allow yourself to come into the present moment. Just you, your breath, your body, and your mat. Letting all thoughts of distraction just leave the mind for the next 60 minutes or so of your practice. Using that inhale to travel around the entire body with that wonderful breath. And allow the exhale to release tension and tightness within the body. So starting to regulate your breath here. Breathing in and out of equal length. And maybe you wish to count the breath. Maybe that helps you to keep in the moment. If you count the breath in, and maybe that count is a 3, a 4, or 5, even a 6 count breath. And use the same count, the same length on the exhale. Just try and be rhythmic, not forcing the breath. We're going to take a couple of minutes of silent meditation. And just allowing yourself to focus on your breathing here. And I'll bring you back out of the meditation, but just sounding the bowl. So make sure you're really nice and comfortable. And taking those nice deep breaths in. And nice deep breaths out. As you begin to deepen your breath, bring awareness back into the body by releasing the mudra. Just giving the fingers a little wiggle. Maybe you need to move into the shoulders, move into the spine. And then gently moving the legs from your seat and coming into a child's pose. So many variations of child's pose here. You can keep the toes, the heels and the knees together and connected, or you might wish to take a wider knees posture, bringing the big toes to touch, and then just reach the fingertips forward and take that nice deep exhale as you fold the body downwards towards the mat. And just notice as we come into Balasana, child's pose, just notice the breath, notice the spine. Using that inhale to draw the breath in through the front of the body, in through the lungs, the heart, the chest, the rib cage, the diaphragm. And allow the exhale to release through the entire spinal column. And just drawing into your own personal intention or sankalpa for your practice today. Nice and slowly, just walking the hands back towards the knees as you gently roll up through the spine, each and every vertebrae, drawing the knees together if they're not already, and just sitting upright into thunderbolt pose or kneeling. And feel that nice alignment within your own spine here. We all have different alignments within our spine. But just think of the head being nice and rested on top of the neck, on top of the shoulders. The shoulders are nicely relaxing down and they're in line with the hips, and the hips are in line with the heels. And you're sitting upright and tall, not forced, just comfortable. And we begin our Sivananda 12 postures with ЩİRШԱASANA or headstand. So again, if headstand is not in your practice today, don't obviously force yourself into the pose, but maybe you are practicing headstand, so you might be using the wall as your prop. And we can always just take the starting foundations of headstand together. So we want to measure out our foundation, that stable triangle that's going to support us when we're up on into the inversion. So holding the elbows with the hands, just release the hands out, interlace the palms, and then just tuck that little finger into the palm here. So this is your frame, this is your triangular frame, and then just bringing the head nicely into the palms. Press into the underneath of the hands and into the forearms and the elbows, and maybe this is good enough for you. Try not to put too much weight into the top of your head and really protect your neck here. Be really nice and strong throughout the core. So maybe this is good enough for you today. If you wish to take it to the next level, you might wish to tuck the toes, and then you can lift the hips and try and lengthen through the spine so the hips come above the shoulders. Again, no weight into the neck or into the top of the head. Keep pressing through that foundation of the triangle. And maybe here you might lift one foot, hold for a few breaths. Release. You might lift the other foot, hold for a few breaths, be strong through the shoulders and the arms. And then maybe If you're ready to take it to the next step, you lift both feet into almost a little egg shape. And then you can extend the legs up into that headstand. And hold for as many breaths as you wish. Coming down as you came in, very lightly, lowering the toes down, just taking a child's pose. Maybe the arms come back by the side of the hips. Nice and slowly roll up through the spine. Come back into that kneeling pose and just feel the alignment. So that was number 1, ŞİRШΑASANA, headstand. Our second pose is SARVÂNGÂSANA, or shoulder stand. And again, many variations. So coming down onto our backs, we just gently roll through the spine and really try and imprint the spine into the mat here. And you can use a block here if you wish to have a supported shoulder stand. And you can either place the block on its lowest level or on its medium level. Probably wouldn't recommend the highest level. But make sure that that block is really nice and stable underneath your hips. Try and drop the hips down, but engage the abdomen. We're going to lift the legs up towards the sky. So this is your supported shoulder stand. Think about the heels in line with the hips. The focus is up towards the toes. This might be enough for you today. If you wish to take to the next level of shoulder stand, you release the block and give yourself a little push up through the base of the spine with the palms lifting the legs. Maybe they stay bent. Maybe you straighten them just a little bit behind you, or you can take it to that next level of SARVÂNGÂSANA where the legs lift up towards the sky, heels in line with hips, and hips in line with shoulders. Now, in any of these poses where we're putting pressure into the neck, try not to turn towards the screen. Really important to try and keep that alignment within the spine. The neck is very fragile. The 7 vertebrae in the upper spine, the cervical cord, the cervical spine, just be really, really careful here of your neck. Now, holding this pose wherever you are, if you're in that supported shoulder stand or if the legs are raised, we're going to come into HALÂSANA. And hopefully if you've got enough room behind you, I'm going to have to scoot just a little bit forward. But we're going to lower the legs back behind us. And maybe they bend into the knees and you drop the knees down towards the forehead or down towards the ears. Or you can extend the feet back behind you and touch the toes either onto a chair, if they're raised up, onto a bolster, or onto the floor. You can support the spine still with the hands behind the lower back, or you might wish to release the hands down to the mat. Try and roll onto the backs of the shoulders and the focus is up between the thighs. Find that drishti and notice the breath here in HALÂSANA, which is plough pose. Nice and slowly when you're ready to come out of the pose, and you can hold these poses between 3, 5 or 10 breaths. Really roll down through the spine, bringing the legs up into that 90-degree angle, and then draw the abdomen in towards the lower back in towards the mat. Use the hands as brakes and slowly lower the legs all the way down to the mat. Release the feet and take a moment of breath in Shavasana. Maybe you wish to wiggle the hips a little from side to side to release any pressure into the hips, the pelvis, and the spine. And as we work through our practice of Sivananda 12, these are 12 basic hatha postures that travel all the way down from the crown of the head to the feet, traveling all the way through the spine, but also traveling through the chakra system. So we've already come through our crown chakra, the Sahasrara. That was through our headstand practice. We've come through our Ajna chakra in our shoulder stand practice. And we've come down into the throat, the Vishuddha chakra. So from here, we're going to come into fish pose, or Matsyāsana. So you can do supported fish, obviously with blocks and bolsters, but this fish, we're going to keep the feet together, the legs together, and the hands come underneath the buttocks. Just press yourself up onto the elbows, looking along the legs. And then maybe you open through the chest a little bit more, and maybe the head goes back behind you if it's comfortable for your neck and throat. And you can draw those elbows in towards one another and release the head down towards the mat. That head is nicely resting. There's not too much weight into the neck. You're supporting yourself. If you wish to challenge yourself in this pose, you can always lengthen the feet away and lift the legs by engaging the core. And just holding Matsyāsana for a number of breaths. Hello. Nice and slowly relax the head back, relax the shoulders back, and release the hands from underneath the body back into that Shavasana. So that's 4 poses already completed from the Sivananda 12. Fish pose, Matsyāsana. We're starting to come down from the Vishuddha chakra into the Anahata chakra, into the heart. So from here, we might need a little bit of core work to lift us up, but we're going to use the impetus of our arms and our core. Seated pose for seated forward bend, Paschimotthāsana. So engage the feet. Draw the toes up towards the sky and use that dorsiflex. Maybe you wish to take a bend into the knees here, but give yourself some room underneath the buttocks to fold forward by releasing some of that flesh. And then reach the arms forward. As you fold from the hips, reach the arms way past the toes, and maybe the hands come down to the toes, the shins, the thighs, or the mat. And you can always use a strap here to hold on to around the feet. But as we're starting to work into the heart area here, try and keep the chest nice and open so you have a really nice flat spine. Draw the abdomen in, relax the shoulders, keep the neck in line with the spine, reach the crown of the head away, and take nice deep breaths. Maybe on each exhale, you go a little bit further into the posture. Doing great. Couple more breaths. Allow calm to come into the mind. Focus on the breath and the asana. And nice and slowly reach the hands away, extend through the spine from the hips, bring the arms up, shoulders in line with the hips, and as you release the hands, draw the knees in and just give yourself a little hug here as you relax the head between the knees. So that was our 5th posture, seated forward bend, Paschimotthānāsana. We're going to come into our prone postures now, of which there are 3. So we're going to roll over onto our bellies and just allow the body to completely let go and relax here. Bring the hands underneath the forehead, big toes touch, and just relax into all the muscles in the legs, the buttocks, and into the spine if you like to rock the hips from side to side. So our first pose in prone is number 6 in the Sivananda 12, which is BHUJANGÂSANA, or COBRA pose. You may wish to release the feet hip width apart if you have any lower back issues or injuries, or maybe you keep the feet together. Hands come underneath the shoulders. And press through the palms as you raise up on that inhale, coming into that cobra pose, drawing the elbows in towards the rib cage and back towards the heels. Relax into the shoulders. Relax into the throat and the neck. Relax into the face. Give yourself a little smile. And maybe you don't come too high here. It's okay, wherever your cobra is. We're all different when we come to our asana. Nice and slowly. Exhale as you release the body back down towards the mat, placing the head back onto the backs of the wrists and just sway out into the hips. Our second pose in prone, and number 7 in the sequence, is LOCUST, or SHALABHÂSANA. One of my favourites, but also quite challenging at the same time. So we are going to take the version that is within the sequence, even though there are many, many, many modifications for Shalabhāsana or locust pose. So sweeping the hands back around by the hips, we're going to take the palms underneath the body and palms face down. You'll not be able to speak too much into this pose. You're resting the chin down onto the mat and the chin stays firmly grounded. You take a nice press through the palms of your hands, the forearms and the upper arms. You lift the feet up towards the sky, back behind you. Take a release when you need to. Exhale and come all the way down to the mat again, and just take a deep exhale as you rest out from Shalabhāsana. Deep work. Coming into our third pose in the prone section, which is DHANURāSANA, and that is bow pose. So keeping the legs hip width apart, just bend the knees and draw the heels in towards the buttocks. Lengthen underneath the body where the hip flexor sockets are, and lengthen the knees back behind you. And maybe your hands take hold of the feet or the ankles. Maybe you use a strap. You can either flex the feet if that's more comfortable for you, or point, depending on your knees and also your reach. And then as you roll back the shoulders, you inhale, you lift through the chest, you press the feet into the hands, hands into the feet, and come into bow. Take a few deep breaths, so coming down into the heart and the solar plexus, that Manipura chakra for energy, confidence. Keep drawing the knees in towards one another, hip width apart. Lift the feet, lift the chest, and slowly come down when you need to, back into that relaxed prone posture. Breathe out, let everything release. Nice and slowly, placing the hands underneath the shoulders, press yourself back through tabletop, back through child's pose, deep exhale as you come into the child's pose, and then gently roll up through the spine, come back into kneeling pose once more. Feel the alignment back into the spine. And we're going to come into half spinal twist, which is ARDHA MATSYENDRÁSANA. So again, many variations, but we are taking this variation today. So the left leg stays out in front of you. The right leg comes across the body, and you really plant that foot down on the mat. Really draw that big toe down. And then this leg comes underneath us, and maybe that buttock drops down towards the mat by the side of the heel. And you might need to lift up onto a block here or a cushion if your buttock isn't actually meeting the mat. And then sweep that arm back around. You get the belly out of the way of the thigh as you come into the half spinal twist. Maybe you're quite content to hug the knee here, but maybe you wish to take the elbow across the knee and return back into that mudra as you prepare for the twist and close your eyes. From here, you breathe in, you circle all the way back to the front, keep going all the way around, place the hands back behind you, lift the hips and the feet, and then bring the opposite leg in front. Yeah, a little bit of a nifty way to get round to the other side. Drop that hip down towards the mat, ground through this big toe. Open through the chest, get the belly out of the way of the thigh, and take that posture on the opposite side. And just notice how it feels as we change sides. This is the first posture that is done on both legs. So we always might feel some differences. Nice and slowly. Bring yourself back into center, keep turning, keep going, and then we're going to come into our next pose, which is crow pose, which is an arm balance. So just take some time to breathe and prepare mentally and find that courage from the Manipura chakra in the solar plexus. We're deep down into the center, right into the core of the body here now. And when we come into arm balances, sometimes we often feel a little bit of fear of falling forward. So be careful, obviously, with anything that's in front of you. Maybe use a pillow or a bolster to protect yourself should you fall. But really taking the palms wide, spreading the fingers. The middle finger is in line with the outer edge of your mat. Press into the heels of the palms and also the finger beds, and just walk the feet in towards the wrists. And just take a moment here to find that balance as you kind of tip forwards and backwards. And again, crow pose or KAKASANA has many variations. So you can bend into the elbows and take the knees out to the side, and then this might be your first place to start with crow if it's already not into your practice. As you tilt the body weight forward, lift the core. Maybe you lift one foot and the other, and maybe you lift both. So that might be your first arm balance. And if you're coming into the extended version of crow pose, which is Bakasana or crane, that's with straight arms. So you might need to get the knees right into the armpits here. So I'm going to come into the armpits. The arms are nice and straight. You're really grounding. Find that focus towards the end of your mat and then rock yourself forward. And maybe you lift 1 or 2 feet. Lift the hips in the pose. Take those nice deep breaths. Doing great. Beautiful, beautiful work. Really energetic. And once you have completed your breaths, you're ready to come out. Just lift the hips. We're coming into Uttanasana or HASTHÀSANA, forward fold. So you might wish to keep the feet together for additional challenge or keep them hip width apart. Bending the knees if you need to, give yourself a little lift into the spine. Create space between the hips and the thighs and the belly. Exhale, fold the chest down towards the thighs. Maybe the hands meet the mat. Maybe they come to the knees. And then extend into the legs when you're ready. Try not to lock into the back of the knees here. Allow the head, the neck to be free. Allow the shoulders to relax and the body to be heavy as it folds towards the mat. And then from our forward fold, this is our 11th pose. We're going to roll up nice and gently through the spine. You can bend the knees should you need to. Taking time to bring yourself up into mountain pose or Tadasana. Standing nice and tall, feel grounded through the soles of your feet. And if you're not already at the front of your mat, just bring the feet to touch at the front of your mat and hands come into Samasthiti. Now this is going to be a little bit of flow into our final pose of Trikonasana or triangle. So we're just going to come through some Sivananda sun salutations. Inhale, the arms raise up towards the sky, upward salute. Exhale, thumbs to the third eye, release into forward fold. Step back with the right leg, step back with the left leg into a high plank, and then lower the knees and exhale, ground position to the mat. Inhale, we were already there earlier, Cobra, and exhale, tuck the toes, send the hips back into a bent leg to downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And release the chest down towards the thighs, maybe just lengthen through one leg at a time. Nice deep exhale as you release both heels and find that breath in that posture. Nice and slowly inhale, right leg up and back behind you. Bring that leg straight through to meet the hands, turn the back foot and sweep the hands up, coming into warrior two. Nice deep exhale as you bend. Inhale as you straighten through that front leg. Trikonasana pose. Reach long over the front arm. And exhale, the hand comes down to wherever's comfortable. You might wish to place it on a block. Think about the gaze here, either down at the foot, straight ahead, or up towards that upper hand. And think about the alignment of wrist to wrist. Lift into the side body, rotate into the rib cage. Feel grounded through the feet, strong in the legs, strong in the spine and torso. Nice and slowly, press up. Exhale, warrior two. Windmill the hands over, frame the front foot, send the leg back. Downward dog, connecting vinyasa. Lower the knees. Ground position. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes straight into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths. And then inhale the left leg up and back behind you. And we're going to come into that warrior two on the other side as you step that foot forward. And then inhale as you press through that foot, straighten through the front leg. Reach long, look along those middle fingers, that drishti. Release the hands to wherever you feel is comfortable, either down at the shin, but try not to use the leg as a support. You're not resting the body weight on the leg. You are keeping that lift into the side body and that rotation through the rib cage. Maybe the gaze goes up towards the hands. Hold for a few breaths. Nice and slowly press through the feet, bring yourself up, bend into that warrior two. Windmill the hands over, frame the front foot, send that leg back, downward dog, connecting vinyasa. Lower the knees on the inhale. Exhale, ground position, release to the mat. Inhale, BHUJANGÂSANA. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. A few deep breaths here. And come down to child's pose when you're ready. From here, we are going to just do a few rounds of the Sivananda sun salutations to see how mobile and flexible that our body and our spine is now. As we've come down through the entire spinal column, those last two postures were starting to work in the sacral region and also the pelvic region. So the Svadhisthana chakra of the sacrum and the Muladhara chakra of the root. And inhale and exhale, tabletop into downward facing dog. Look forward as you walk the feet towards the hands at the front of the mat. Exhale into forward fold. Inhale, arms raise out to the side of the body, bring you up to standing. Exhale, hands into heart samasthiti. Prepare for Sivananda, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg steps back, high or low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to tabletop. Exhale, ground position lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right leg steps forward, high lunge. Exhale to the front, forward fold. Inhale, arms raise. Exhale, hands come into the heart, repeating on the left. Inhale. And exhale, fold. Left leg steps back as you breathe in all the way to the fingertips. Exhale, plant the palms, down dog. Inhale, lower the knees gently to tabletop. Exhale, chin, chest. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Left leg, inhale. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, arms raise. And exhale back into the heart. Take a few nice deep breaths here. Notice the sun salutations after all of your wonderful work. And release the hands. We're going to come down onto our backs for just some closing stretching work. So if you need to make yourself warm, please do. And have any straps available to you should you need those. But as we come down to our mats, just gently allow the spine to settle here. We haven't been here since our shoulder stand. So just notice how the spine feels now compared to that asana. Then gently draw the knees in towards the chest as you roll and massage out through the spine. I'm just going to take our Padangustāsanas 1, 2, and 3. Reach the left leg along the mat, the right leg raises. You don't have to engage into these postures if you don't wish to. You can, of course, introduce that dorsiflex into the ankle, brings further engagement into the legs. Try and relax into the face and the neck. Nice deep exhale as you draw that foot way back behind the head. Holding for a few deep breaths and then slowly open that leg out to the side. You might wish to support it under the knee or the calf as you bring the elbow down towards the mat. Hold for a few breaths. Nice and gently bring the leg back into the center. We're going to cross it over the body into a twist. So changing to the left hand, and that then supports the right leg across the body. And you might feel more comfortable to release that underneath leg, or you might roll onto the side of the hip as if you're in a standing balance. This is a hand to big toe or revolved hand to big toe. Nice and slowly bring the leg back into center. Exhale, knees come in towards the chest. Keep the left knee in, right leg extends along the mat. Left leg extends up towards the sky. Just noticing how it feels on the other side. Notice what comes up for you, any reactions and responses that you need to manage. Try to relax into the body, the face, the neck, the shoulders. Nice and gently take that leg out to the side, trying to anchor through your right side of your body, supporting that leg if you need to, or maybe you're holding onto the strap. Try and feel both shoulders connecting, both buttocks connecting. Nice and slowly bring it back into center. Change the arm, cross that leg over the body, come into that revolved twist. And then gently bring that leg as you roll back onto the buttocks. Bring both knees in towards the chest. Nice deep exhale as you just lengthen through the entire spine, all the way from the top of the spine at the base of the skull all the way down to the sacrum and the pelvis and the tailbone. And then just gently, maybe you can hug the knees as you lift the buttocks and hips off the mat. You might lift the shoulders and the head, curl into a really tight, tight ball. Nice and slowly roll back. Place the feet down. Take that rest pose as you need to. And if you feel that there is something more that your body needs right now, go ahead, do that, or prepare for your final relaxation in Shavasana. And you can take the feet to the edges of the mat with the toes and the ankles just nicely relaxed. Relax into the legs, give the hips a little sway from side to side, and then take the arms away from the body. Make sure they're not touching anything. And relax the head back, and maybe you've got props. Bolster can go underneath the knees, eye pillows, maybe a thin blanket underneath the head. And come into that final pose of Shavasana or corpse pose. And as you breathe in, take a long, deep breath in through the nose. Imagine that breath going to each and every part, and as you breathe out through the mouth, relax every single part of your body and sigh out tension. And then just regulating your breath, your even, equal breath, samavriti. Equal in to equal out. We'll take a few moments relaxation of silence in Shavasana, and I will gently sound the bowl to bring us back around again. As you begin to deepen your breath, to bring awareness back onto the mat and back into the room. Bring some gentle movement back into the fingertips, the toes. Maybe moving the head from side to side, giving yourself a big stretch through the body with the arms over the head. And drawing the knees in towards the chest as you gently roll and massage out as you need to. And rolling over to one side, trying to keep the eyes closed. And just gently bring yourself up back to our Sukhasana, where we started our practice together. Bringing the hands into the heart center in Anjali Mudra, placing the palms together. And sitting nice and tall, not rigid, not forced. Firm yet relaxed. Just draw back into the beginning of the practice, the meditation, the breath work, your intention, and the Sivananda 12, an entire Hatha yoga sequence for the entire body to open and balance the entire chakra system and to bring flexibility and mobility to the entire spine. Giving thanks and gratitude to yourself for your practice today. Your breath, your focus, and your body. And I thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.